Nearly every day we read or hear something about the fighting in that part of the world. Well, for a handful of Utah artists, a group called Operation Freelight, Yugoslavia's civil war recently became very personal, with word of a Serbian friend and fellow artist struggling to get his family out of that divided country. Utan Al Talin and his colleagues decided to do something about it. They traveled into the perilous region to rescue their friends. KTVX News went along. The environment was tense, so near a war that has no front lines. With a small personal-sized camera, I managed to maintain discretion, follow the group's activity, and document the rescue mission. Our first report, Operation Freelight's first order of business, to find their Serbian friends. Al Talin and his colleagues are returning to Budapest. Their trip is much more serious than the photographic expedition that brought them here 3 years ago.
That's basically where we're headed. Okay, we're straight ahead.
This time, they're on a rescue mission.
How you feeling, Grant? Apprehension, a lot of apprehension. We're responsible for the lives of 3 people. Do you know that?
Talin first met Marinko Satevi and his family while escorting a group of University of Utah photographers through Europe. A friendship was born. The Satevi family would later call upon that friendship when the fighting started. Marinko, a Serbian captain in the Yugoslav army, had become an outcast among the ranks for his refusal to kill Croatians or to participate in the raping of Muslim women and girls. When it appeared he would be drafted for a second tour of duty, the family decided they must flee Yugoslavia.
I'm here to help a brother of mine so that he can live maybe as good a life as I live.
Kind of scary.
I'm scary.
Talin's arrival today brings hope that perhaps this family of conscientious objectors may, after all, find a place they can call home.
We just we so wait you.
Only you, really? 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 Is it really? Yes, yes. It's really me. It's really us.
Welcome, my friends.
Oh, I have so much to tell you. Everybody buy gun, and it starts. I hate war. I hate people who are with guns. Some tell me that 30,000, no, not 30,000 people go away.
The Satevis left behind their home and their jobs. They have run out of money, and with only temporary visas and no chance of turning back, they are running out of time. The Satevis have pinned their hopes on Talin and his team. The days ahead will tell whether this hastily organized, poorly funded rescue mission finds a new home for this family fleeing civil war. Tomorrow in the KTVX News at 10, we will cross the border into Yugoslavia to see the conditions that forced this family to leave the home they had worked years to build.
Now, 2 weeks ago, one Serbian family of conscientious objectors fled the country, and a group of Utah artists journeyed into the troubled region to rescue their friends. Our John went along and took a camera to document this incredible effort. In the second of a 3-part report, we crossed the border tonight into Yugoslavia to visit the home of Marinko and Liliana Satevi to see for ourselves the conditions that drove them from it. Day 3 of their journey takes Al Talin and his team across the border into Yugoslavia. They are escorting Liliana Satevi and her daughter back to their village of Subotica to retrieve essential belongings and to say goodbye to loved ones. Liliana is frightened to return. Armed guards patrolling the border don't ease her fears. Communism, civil war, and international sanctions have destroyed this country's economy. We drive 10 minutes at a time without seeing a single car on the road. Scores of them jam gas station entrances. These people will wait all night for what little petrol is left in the pumps.
Today may be the last time Liliana sees the house she and her husband built with their own hands. It was their dream home. They lived in it only a few months before being forced to abandon it. At her mother's home, Liliana's farewell gathering is interrupted by the evening news. The anchorman begins with the words, "Good evening," in these dark and troubled times. Troubled times, says Liliana's mother, make it easy to let her daughter go. For Liliana's sister, the prospect of staying behind is a bitter one.
In Yugoslavia, there is no future.
The fighting moves closer to the Setevis village. On this day, Croatian troops have attacked a Serbian community only 80 miles to the south. And as the Yugoslav army rallies its troops for a counterattack, armed recruiters are searching towns and villages looking for able-bodied Serbian men like Marinko Setevi, who now must either flee or fight. The military watches everyone's movements.
They're pointing their flashlights at my windshield. They've got the bridge blocked.
Croatian soldiers search my car and after about an hour decide to release me. They order me back to Subotica. An American journalist, at least for tonight, is not considered to be an enemy in this land. But during these dark and troubled times, former patriots like the Setevis are. For now, the Setevis are a family without a country, hiding out in a rented room in Budapest. Tomorrow night in the KTVX News at 10, we look at how 3 Utah humanitarians with no diplomatic status at all plan to bring the family back to the United States.
That had to be unnerving when those guards stopped you like that.
Very much so, but you don't show it at a time like that.
I guess not. And a group of Utah artists has reached into war-torn Yugoslavia to rescue a Serbian army officer and his family, conscientious objectors to the war there.
Our John Dupre documented this journey, but working as a journalist in that region was risky, and John himself shot the video you're about to see.
In the conclusion of his series of reports, we see how the Utahns in Operation Freelight are providing a green light to freedom.
Their determined look belies their apprehension as Al Talin and his colleagues approach the United States Embassy in Budapest. Today, they will officially begin the process of finding a new home for Marinko Setevi and his family. The Setevis are 3 of an estimated 130,000 Yugoslavians who've crossed the border into Hungary to escape civil war. They are not welcome here. This ancient city has suddenly become a processing place for refugees. Hungarians don't like foreigners squatting on their land, where the post-communist economy is depressed and there's not enough money to go around. And the Setevis' request for immigration status won't be welcome at the American embassy, where tens of thousands of others have already filed petitions. But none of that seems to discourage Talin.
The officer who is going to give them their status as a immigrant worker to the United States knows who I am and knows what we want. And by the time we're finished, they'll know the family.
The Setevis' passport to freedom in the end may be husband Marinko and his talent. He is a master sketch artist, an impressive portfolio that includes works commissioned by some of Yugoslavia's professional soccer teams, shows Marinko has what U.S. immigration's officers want, a unique, employable skill. A job awaits Marinko at Talin's Salt Lake Publishing Company. The Freelight Institute has also set up an apartment for the Setevis when they arrive. All of this together makes the Setevis especially promising, if not reluctant, candidates for immigration.
Because many people in Bosnia and around says that don't go. But when people can fight, they go.
The U.S. consulate, already inundated with asylum seekers from Yugoslavia, appears very impressed with this case, mainly, says one official, because of the efforts of this group of Utahns. With no official diplomatic status whatsoever, Operation Freelight has turned the key. The door to freedom is opening for Marinko Setevi and his family. John Dupre, KTVX 4 News, Budapest.
And a footnote to all this, there are two sources of, I guess, what you called hope for the Setebis. One is Senator Orrin Hatch's office. He promises to speed up the petition process.
And a senior consul officer in Budapest told Tallinn last week that, quote, she looks forward to stamping her approval on the Setebis papers and sending them on to America.
We will continue to follow them, and we'll be real happy to report the night they arrive here in Salt Lake.
That's right.